Hello, this is Joseph, and today I'd like to talk about how we can experience our angels. A lot of people tell me that um, they never experienced angels, and because of that, they don't know if they believe in them or not. And other people tell me they do believe in angels, but they're sad or depressed or disappointed that uh, they don't believe they've ever experienced them. And I'm only going to relate to you my personal experiences, and hopefully that will help you. Um, Now, back in the early 90s, 1990s, I took a workshop. It was, I believe, 1 week, 7 days, and it began on a Sunday, and on Wednesday we were doing a deep breathing exercise at night, so the lights were out, the room was dark. There was maybe 15 of us lying on our backs on the floor and just interspersed throughout the room. And about 10 minutes or so before the session was to end, the facilitator announced that the session would be ending in about 10 minutes. At that time, at that point, a pair of eyes appeared above me. Now I'm lying on my back, the room is dark, my eyes are open, and I see these pair of eyes, and it's just a rectangle with a pair of eyes. And at first I thought it was my mother who had passed on a few years before, so I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. I was assuming it was my mother. And for the remainder of that time, that 10-minute period, these pair of eyes uh, just bathed me in gold and white beams of light. And I didn't know what to make of it. Nothing like this had ever happened to me. I'd never seen angels before. And and just as the facilitator announced they're going to turn on the lights now at the end of the 10 minutes, the eyes expanded. And it was it was Mother Mary. And then she was gone. And I didn't discuss this with anybody. I went back to my room for the evening, and I didn't know what to make of this. I didn't feel anything different. Uh, but here I was. I saw Mother Mary, and she was bathing me in beams of golden white light for 10 minutes. So the next day came, and we had exercises and things to do. And then Friday came, Friday evening. So this was 2 days later. And Friday evening, for the sake of time, we were doing some exercises. I had an out-of-body experience. Now, at the time, I was sitting on the floor with my back up against the wall. And there was this music playing, sort of this drumming, and my head started keeping time with the drumming, just tapping on the wall behind me. And then I could feel my spirit trying to leave my body, and it was getting stuck at the crown of my head. And it would hit the crown of my head and come back down, hit the crown of my head and come back down. I kept doing this till finally it went through, and I remember looking down, and I saw that the crown of my head, that what I was calling the trap door, was actually white light. So at the time, a lot of people were talking about, the white light and, being the ultimate experience. And what that showed me was that the white light was just the beginning of these, what I came to call these light regions. And, we don't have the syntax to explain these things, but for lack of a better term, I had a guide, and we were traveling at the speed of light. And I just remember looking down and seeing that white light, and I was being told that, that white light is just the beginning. It's just kindergarten stuff. And we traveled through these light regions, which just made the white light pale in comparison. And now this guide that was with me, it was a male in semi-physical form. And just like Mother Mary 2 nights before was in a semi-physical form. But we kept going and kept going and kept going until we came to this bright light, brighter than anything we were in, off in the distance. And as far as I could tell, we were traveling right toward it. And then the guide stopped me. And the guy said, "You can't go there." And I said, "Why not? I want to." He said, "No, you'll spontaneously combust if you do." So at that point, I came back into my body. And for the next 6 months, I was in what I call these light regions. And I explained it to a Catholic one time, and he said, "Oh yeah, you were in a state of rapture." So apparently the Catholics call it rapture, but I'm a kind of a quiet guy, and I'd be in the supermarket, and just out of nowhere, without any warning, I just burst out giggling and laughing, and people would stop and look at me. But that was the state I was in for 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, I was actually, from an experience, knocked out of the light regions. But that's another story altogether. But what I want to emphasize here is that Mother Mary and the guide who took me through these light regions, I was able to perceive in semi-physical form. And the light around me, the white light, the beams of light that Mary showered me with, I was able to see. And the light that was far off in the distance that I was not allowed to approach, I could see that light. A few years later, I was told by Mary Magdalene that light was the light of Mary Magdalene. And it was so refined that I couldn't go to it. I'm not sure if my guide could even go to it. But the way I found that out was a few years later. I was taking a workshop at the San Luis Rey Mission in Oceanside, California. And Mother Mary appeared to me again in semi-physical form. And with her was Mary Magdalene in semi-physical form. So what Mary Magdalene did was she transformed her energy to a vibration that my vibration could handle to appear to me at the mission. The vibration she was appearing to me when I was going through those light regions, I just could not even get close to, otherwise I would just combust. So my point is that your angels will appear to you in different forms of frequency. And I believe that the reason Mother Mary came to me Wednesday night, that Wednesday evening when she bathed me in golden white light, she was preparing me so I would be able to go through those light regions, so I could leave the white light and travel through those white regions, because I had been in the white light a few years before, so I could handle that. And you know from my other videos that when I was a child in Nogales, Arizona, Mary Magdalene came to me. I didn't know it was her at the time. I later learned. But she came to me through a feeling of grace flowing through my body. And that was, I call the feeling of grace. As a child, I didn't know what it was. Nothing like that had ever happened to me. But it was a feeling of comfort and warmth and love, unconditional love. And then later, in my late teens, Mary Magdalene came to me through a woman called Magdalia. So your angels, and I didn't know it was her at the time. I was told that later by Mary Magdalene. But your angels appear to you, and you may not know it at the time, but you just have to maintain the faith and stay open. And when your time is right, your angels will appear to you in semi-physical form. So you do know indeed that they exist and they are around you. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you. So if you have any questions, you can always email me at joseph@jmmlove.com. You can visit my website at jmmlove.com and communicate to me through there. Or I'm on Instagram at j.mm.love. So I hope to hear from you. If you have any angel experiences, I'd love to hear them. If you have any difficulty or any depression or sadness about not being able to communicate with your angels, drop me a line. I'd be happy to discuss things with you and help you in any way I can. So until the next video, stay aware.